Alright, so we're going to look at how we can use if and else branches a little bit more. Alright, so for this lab, interstate highway numbers, we're given some information about highways. Let's see, primary U.S. interstate highways are numbered 1 through 99. Odd numbers go north and south. Even numbers go east and west. I did not know that. Auxiliary highways are numbered 100 through 999 and service the primary highway indicated by the rightmost two digits. Okay, so like the I-405, it services the I-5, and the I-290 services the 90. Okay, given a highway number, indicate whether it is a primary or auxiliary highway. If auxiliary, indicate what primary highway it serves. Also indicate if the primary highway runs north or south or east or west. Okay, so we need to find, given any highway number, whether it's, first off, whether it's primary or auxiliary, then if it's even or odd, so that we know that it's going north, south, east, or west, and we need to create different outputs for all of the different scenarios. So first thing to do is create a variable for user input that can take any number that we're given. So let's start with, since these are whole numbers, I'll use int, and let's just call it highway number. Then I also want a variable specifically for the primary number, because each highway number that's greater than 100 has a primary number that's associated with it. So primary number. Okay. And then the highway number is going to take some input. So highway number equals int.next int. And then from the highway number we can get the primary number by looking at the last two digits. So primary number is going to equal the highway number modulo 100, so that it drops the first digit if it's greater than 100 or greater than 99. Alright, so quick check to make sure that this works. Let's name this. Let's name this interstate highway numbers. Okay, let's make sure that this input works. Alright, so if I'm taking, for instance, the 405, then the primary should be 5. Let's run it again. If I'm taking the 99, that's already a primary, so it should give me back just 99. Good, that works. Okay, so now that we know our highway number and primary number, we're going to create some if and else statements for the different scenarios that we have. So first off is if the highway number is greater than 99, which would make it auxiliary, and I don't want it to be any number greater than 99 because that can go up to infinity, I would say and highway number is less than 1000, so that it goes to 999, then proceed to this body. And for auxiliary numbers, we have two more different outcomes. We can have north and south for odd numbers, or east and west for even numbers. So I'm going to nest another if and else statement inside of this if statement. And we're going to find if the highway is even. We do that by type in highway modulo 2 equals 0. So it's saying that if this number is divisible by 2, which would make it even, and if it's divided by 2 and there's no remainder, which would mean that this is equal to 0, then this number is even. If that's the case, then we're going to print the statement that indicates that this is an auxiliary highway, that it is running east and west, and that it has an associated primary number highway. So let's go ahead and type I dash plus the highway number is auxiliary serving I, and then plus the primary number going east/west. So that would print, for instance, if this was the 210 or 220, this is I-210 is auxiliary serving I-10 going east-west. And then that's the end of this if statement. I didn't need a brace for because it's only one line. So if it's not this, then I would type else. And since there's only one other condition that it could be, that it's odd, I don't need another if. I can just say else print. And I can copy this and just type north-south instead. Same thing, but it's going north-south. Okay, and then I need to close the body for my first if statement. So here's my first if statement that is saying that if the highway number is greater than 99, less than 1000, and if the number is even, print this, else print this. Okay, one other thing that we need to think about are the highway numbers that are divisible by 100, like Highway 100, Highway 200, Highway 300. Those will not be valid highway numbers because the rightmost two digits are 00, and there is no primary highway 00. So we need to alter this condition to accommodate for highway numbers that are divisible by 100. So I have this first comparison and comparison expression inside one parentheses, and then I'm going to extend that over to another parenthesis on this side. Highway number modulo 100 does not equal 0. So equals would mean that this expression right here would equal 0. Exclamation equations means that it would not equal 0. Close parentheses, close parentheses. So now we have our full condition where the highway number is greater than 99, less than 1000, and not divisible by 100. Then we'll proceed to print these for whichever case it meets. Next, if statement, or not if, since this is an if and else, this would be if this, if not that, else, and we're going to have another if. So now if it's not greater than 99, so we're talking about highway numbers that are from 1 to 99. So I'll say if primary number, and the reason why I'm putting another if is to indicate that this number is greater than 0, because I don't want it to account for a primary number of 0, because there is no highway 0, so greater than 0. So now I have an if statement that captures all highway numbers greater than 99, less than 1000, not divisible by 100, and another if statement that captures all primary numbers that are greater than 0, as long as they're not within this range. So if it meets this condition, it will not try to match this condition because we're using the else statement. So else if primary number is greater than 0, and then we're going to do something very similar to the first if and else, because the primary number can be either even or odd. That will determine whether it's running north, south, or east or west. So I'm going to copy this into this next one and just alter it for the primary highway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this portion right here. And I'm going to just add is primary going east west. Is primary going north south. So now this will take the primary number if the highway is not greater than 99, and it will compare it to whether it's even or if it's odd, and it'll print out these statements for whichever case. And close this else, and then I have one last else with no if attached for any number that doesn't meet any of these conditions. System out print, and we're going to state that let's see, without that, I want to state the number that we put in there that's invalid. So highway number, for instance, if I put in the number 3000, then it'll say 3000, and then I have a string is not a valid interstate highway number. Just like that. And I don't need to close the brace for this else because it's not using a brace. And let's go ahead and run this and see what it does for us. Make sure there's no bugs. I capitalized the U. Take care of that. No, I did it twice because I copy and pasted it. Okay. Okay, so let's run this for Highway 90. Now this should be east and west since it's even, and it should take this statement here, right? So, and it gives us I-90 is primary going east-west. Let's go ahead and type now 290. It's an auxiliary highway. I-290 is auxiliary serving I-90 going east-west. Let's do an odd highway, 99. This is I-90 is primary going north-south. 299 is auxiliary serving I-99 going north-south. And then, of course, 0 should be invalid. 0 is not a valid interstate highway number. And any highway number divisible by 100, like 200, should also be not valid. 200 is not a valid interstate highway. So there we go. That's how we use these if and else statements to accomplish our task.